A mosquito bassinet cover. Why on earth do I need this? Well, let me tell you why. Hi, welcome. Today I'm going to talk about essentials when traveling with an infant. I found all these things really helpful when I traveled internationally with my 5-month-old. So keep in mind, I won't be covering anything that are solids snacks related. I'm going to cover 3 categories. The first one are basics, things that almost every single infant needs. Second category, not required but recommended. These might be a little bit different than what you think you need to pack, but make a difference. And the third category is surprising but highly effective. Everything I mentioned will be linked in the description below. So let's get started. First things first, diaper bag. I use this massive expandable bag that I bought on Amazon. I loved it because it had a lot of space to carry everything I needed, and it has a detachable front bag that I could grab if I needed to go to the bathroom and change her without lugging this giant backpack around. Definitely pack light, and this at least gives you the option if you want a smaller size or expandable size. Next item, dude, wet bags. I love wet bags. They are machine washable bags that are waterproof with zippers and usually have this snap onto, your stroller or whatever. They can be used for soiled items, organization, and play. So when you're traveling, you might not have a trash can available where you are, or there's gonna be things that you want to throw in here that are dirty, whether it's a dirty diaper, a toy that fell on the ground, or maybe the baby had a blowout and you need to put their onesie somewhere. And when I'm packing for a trip, if I need some extra bags, this is also perfect for me to stay organized. I also mentioned play because honestly with babies, you give them anything that's new and different, they will be interested. And let them just play around with it and throw it everywhere. I mean, everything is a toy. Next item is a carrier. I don't know how anyone is able to travel without one of these. This comes in so handy when you need both hands free. This was the best way that I could get my baby to nap when I was on the go. Sometimes it doesn't make sense for them to be in the stroller, or you don't have access to the stroller, or you're trying to get through a busy place but keep your baby safe. I mean, there's just a billion reasons why a carrier is super helpful. This is a must. Next item, swaddle or breastfeeding cover. Even if you're not breastfeeding, this could be super helpful. First of all, here's a breastfeeding cover. You might be familiar with the We Are Ama one. I got this from Quince, which is more affordable. I love this. I can give you a referral code on the bottom. Essentially, having a large cloth item like this serves many purposes. The first one is breastfeeding, right? If you have your baby in here, or even with a swaddle blanket, what I do is take 2 ends and then I use a hair tie to tie it up, and then I just drape this. The next reason is shade and preventing distractions. The baby needs a nap. I might throw this over the stroller, or when I was at the airport, I had her in the carrier and I put this over so that she wasn't distracted by all the sounds and movement outside. And she was able to nap a little bit. And last but not least, if you're cold, baby's cold, you got another layer. Last item in this category, but equally as important, is a light and sound machine. For some reason, I found ones that were great for a nightlight, ones that were great for sound, but not a lot did both, or if they weren't highly reviewed. This one I love. This is the Mom Cozy portable white noise machine. It has different sounds and light. There's controls right here. The only thing that sucked about this is that it doesn't work when it's plugged in, but regardless, I was able to use this every night with my baby for 12 hours plus some naps, and then I would just charge it in between. This is perfect on the go. I definitely recommend this one. Now moving on to not required, but super helpful. And the first item, doggy pee pads. I was super skeptical when I heard about this because I didn't want to be wasteful, and I felt like, well, I have a travel changing pad for this reason, but let me tell you why I actually really love these. Number one, it's disposable. Maybe your baby soils it, or maybe it's just like an area that you don't trust. You can just toss it. And sometimes it's like really hectic and you just don't have time to deal with everything. Throw it away. Second reason is that these are really thin. And so you can literally stuff it in any bag. In my pocket, I could stick it in my fanny pack, and all my other changing pads are not this thin. These came in clutch. The next item is a travel water boiler. This was super handy for me because I was making formula at that time. So this allowed me to boil water and bring it to the temperature needed for the powder. Even if you are not formula feeding, this is really handy to have hot water to clean things if you don't have access to it, or if you need clean water for the baby to drink or for you to drink yourself. Overall, this was pretty light and compatible with different voltages. Travel water bottle scrubber. I don't have it with me because it's downstairs being used. It's 2 pieces. I'll put a picture of it right here. It's great because it has a small small scrubber for those tight spaces like nipples, and it has a big one that is like the perfect size for bottles. This is the carrying case, which I always left out to kind of stick the bottles upside down for drying. It was nice, easy, compact, and that brush I actually now use regularly because it's a really good size. Next item up is a baby monitor. If you have a slumber pod or you have a place where you might be in the other room and you want to see how your baby is doing, I recommend getting one of these. They don't require Wi-Fi, so it's super helpful on trips, and the battery life was also pretty good. Okay, this next item is the best thing. My mom and her friends always talk about how they wish they had these when they were moms. It is basically a silicone string holder. That's what I call it. They're great because you can attach it to whatever. This is so that you don't lose it. It doesn't fall on the floor, whether it's a teether or a pacifier or a bottle. Attached to the backpack, attached to the baby. My baby also likes to use the string itself as a teether. I recommend you get a bunch of these because I use them all the time, and you are welcome. Last item in this category is the slumber pod. I don't have it because I borrowed it from a friend, and I am so thankful. If your baby is a magical unicorn and doesn't need darkness to sleep, then please buy a lottery ticket and you can skip past this. Otherwise, if your baby is going to sleep in some kind of crib, then this is essentially a big tent and it keeps it dark in there. There's a pocket towards the top for a baby monitor, and there's a pocket on the bottom that I put a sound machine in. In one of the places that we stayed, there was a separate room, so we didn't actually need it. But the other place that we stayed at, it was just a single hotel room. It was great because she goes to sleep earlier than us. When she went to bed, she could be in the darkness with the sound machine on, and we could still have the lights on and go about our business. So that was super helpful for us. All right, we've made it this far. Now we're on the third category, surprising items, yet very effective. And the first item is a mosquito bassinet cover. And you might be thinking, why on earth do I need this? Well, let me tell you why. First of all, if you are just holding an infant on your lap, this might not pertain to you. But if you are reserving a seat that has a bulkhead bassinet or the ones that attach to the wall for your baby, listen up. So when I was doing research, there is a product out there, I think it's called Cozy Go, which basically serves this purpose, but it was more than I wanted to spend. So I kind of decided to fashion a version myself. Let me show you what this looks like. This essentially is a mesh cover used for homes. People get one to keep their cat out of the bassinet or mosquitoes. This is something I didn't realize. When you're on a plane, sometimes they have the lights all the way up, especially if they're serving meals and things like that. And even when the lights are dimmed, wherever the bassinet is might actually be under a light. So I basically put this net over it and I put a blanket on top, and that made sure that I could keep it dark in there for her. What I liked about this is there's like a little zipper opening so I could stick my hand in and like pat her and help her nap whenever I needed to. This was a lifesaver because it was actually pretty bright on the plane, and I'm so glad I had this. Having her sleep during the plane was 100% worth it. The next item is a splat mat. If you don't know what it is, it's usually used to put under a high chair for when your baby is throwing food or dropping food. Also, on a side note, if you don't have a catchy, you should definitely get it. It's a lifesaver. Anyways, I was debating for a while if I needed to bring like a floatable play mat for tummy time because I just wasn't sure what the situation was going to be like. Ultimately, this was clutch, and I just put it over the bed or I put it on the floor if I needed to. I was also just thinking about if I ever needed to just give her a little bit of space and I didn't want her to just be on the floor of the airport or something. I didn't actually use this as much as I thought, but if you are thinking that you need that kind of time with your baby or using a travel crib that touches the floor and you want an extra layer just for sanitary reasons, I would recommend this over carrying something thicker like a play mat. Last but not least, this is a reusable Ziploc bag. The brand is Rezip. I love these because they are great for organizing and can throw a bunch of like toys and teethers and stuff in there. I actually use this all the time. It's machine washable, and it's somewhat water resistant. I mean, I've never actually just threw water in here or anything like that wet, but it has a zipper, so it closes easily, and it makes a great toy as well. My baby was more interested in playing with the bag itself than the toys that I packed. All right, that's all I have for you today. I hope this was helpful. Please let me know in the comments down below what you found valuable, or let me know how your trip went, or even better, if you have any tips. I would love to hear them. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Enjoy your trip. Bye.